Looking forward to the inaugural Nutrien foray into Sydney, starting this Sunday, the 20th of February. Catching up, Pat Driscoll. Firstly, welcome.
Thanks, Paul. It's thanks for coming across and doing the interview.
Excitement levels about Nutrien. You had a first taste of it last year in Melbourne. A lot of people in New South Wales did come down, but there'll be a lot of people that haven't experienced it. You're looking forward to, I suppose, the 2022 version of their sales and their sales program?
Oh, very much so, Paul. I was blown away not only in how they conducted the auction, but how they conducted the event. I thought it was second to none, and they were, to be congratulated. And one only has to look to the outstanding job they did in the recent Nutrien Equine cutting auction and event in Tamworth. I can't believe the coverage that had and the amount of congratulations they got in relation to it. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to Sunday in Sydney and of course, back in Melbourne in April.
It's an exceptional sale, Tamworth. I was fortunate enough to spend 5 days up there, and I encourage anyone next year, pencil it in and go, because to see how they operate and how they do it, 15 years it's been going. First year it turned over $1 million. This year, $17 million turned over, up $2 million on the previous, like the year before. They continue to grow things, and that's the Nutrien experience.
Yeah, they're professionals at it. That's what they do very well in the equine space, this particular group. So because of that, we're really looking forward to the second year with Nutrien.
Yabby Farms and Haras to Trotteurs, their commitment with Nutrien is very big, very large. You're sponsoring and committing, helping gain this trotting race series that's gaining a lot of traction. And we want people to be aware, one, of the prize money that is on offer, because some things get touted around there, but the prize money that is on offer and the incentive for a farm like yourself getting behind this race series.
Yeah, well, when the idea of Nutrien was first mooted, I was happy to get involved. I didn't want to be involved in the day-to-day. Left that to the younger, brighter guys like Craig Judd, Shannon Nixon, Brett, etc. And what I thought I'd do, to best help, was to provide a little bit of money in relation to the sales races. So this year, for instance, there's two $65,000 two-year-old events, obviously split sex, and for this year's yearling sales, and then 125k split sex for the 3-year-olds the year after. So it's a nice little incentive. If you buy a nice horse, you'll get some nice rewards.
The key part of that, split sex. It may not be the richest race series going around because it is, but split sex-wise, it's clearly heads and shoulders above with the individual race series for a sales race for trotters. And it's a benchmark for where it's going to end up.
Yeah, well, it actually is the richest juvenile trotting race for both sexes in the Southern Hemisphere. So hopefully that'll be surpassed in the not-too-distant future as, with HRV or another state looking to do a bit more with trotters. But right now, the two sales races are the richest, the 3-year-olds, the richest juvenile trotting races in the Southern Hemisphere.
And they look to be great. You must really enjoy that from a trotting purist. 2 years down the track, we're going to be going to the races, and to see, hopefully for your sake, a lot of your horses that you've sold at the sale, but in actual fact there's 77 I think lots going through. There's 7 in Sydney, 70 going through in Melbourne on the 3rd of April. We want to make sure people are aware of that, and we'll cover off on that in a sec. But you must be excited what's going to be on offer in 2 years' time, because I know you're big on juveniles, but juveniles as 3-year-olds more so than the 2-year-old side. Yeah,
that's right, Paul. There's a lot of quality horses. We believe we've got a quality draft, but so do Aldebaran and so many of the other, even smaller vendors. I was looking at the catalogue a few days ago and just going, wow, it's come a long way in a few short years, trotting in general for the catalogue. Really looking forward to seeing, where the good horses are going to come from down the track.
Probably take your Haras to Trotteurs and Yabby Farms hat off for a sec. We have Pangrazios, Blanche Pool, Calf McIntosh. Like we'll talk about Alabar, we can talk about Aldebaran Farm, but a lot of these other studs now that are growing and developing, and they're embracing the trotters and having quality trotters in this sale. It must be terrific for you as a trotting purist and love of the trotter to see these other people embracing it. Not only embracing it, bringing quality stock into a sale.
Yeah, and that's you hit the nail on the head. That quality is important, and all those breeders and farms you spoke about, they've gone out of their way to breed to the best that they can. And as a result, their families have improved, their trotting's improved, along with the general trotting gait. And it's quite exciting. And as I said, I think the good trotters could come from anywhere in the sale.
Yep, they definitely could. Your draft, 25?
25, yes.
25, going through good range of horses, some that you stood at stud, through to others that you've embraced and you quite actually like. I'm not going to ask you about your pick of the draft yet. We might leave that just to the late. We might just tease a few people because it's quite an interesting one. But you've got a good range of trotters. You've got 3 really high quality Father Patricks going through the sale that you'd be pretty buoyed about. Yeah,
the first one is out of American Jewel. She's a very close relation to Vacation Hill. That's owned by Norm Jenkins and
exciting trotter, but unfortunately we had to chase home the other night at Bendigo.
Exactly. I don't mind chasing home nice trotters.
No.
But you can't win them all. So very close relation, and it's a very nice yearling. The other Father Patrick's out of Aldebaran Eve, who we thought a lot of as a racehorse, out of a beautiful family. And the last Father Patrick is probably out of the best bred mare that I've got on the farm. Exclusive Jet. She's a full sister to a Group 1 winning sire in France, and a half sister to half a dozen other Group 2 sires in France. So, some beautifully bred Father Patricks.
We're a long way out. Well, we're a long way out. We're about 6 weeks out from that sale. With these French breeding and pedigrees and the likes, people should contact yourself, contact Anton, or contact people from France to try and get an understanding of what these races mean as well, because in Europe, and especially France and those places, Group 1 racing, you don't just get a Group 1 tag because you want to call a race a Group 1. It's such a hard thing to do, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. And in relation to that, hats off to HRA for looking at the group status. I'm not too sure when it's going to be implemented, but to raising the stakes on the Group 1s, putting the sales race, no matter what the prize money is, it doesn't matter, putting them as listed, and the ones that are quite restrictive, like the homegrown, great to have that sort of money, but let's call it for what it is. It's a listed race. So, Australia is starting to follow the international trends. So, it's been that case not only in Europe but in America for a long time as well.
I think it's key, and I know the New Zealanders are very keen on it as well, to making it a lot harder to get black type, because it stands the test of time. And as I said, in Europe, it's very, very hard, isn't it, to get that Group 1, especially when next to your name, Group 2 as well. It's very, very hard. Loveview, a horse that you're super keen on. Most of the world is. The job he's doing here in Australia as well, but he's represented beautifully in your sale.
Yeah, he is. We have 6 or 7 lots, colts and fillies, and he's just done an outstanding job there from some very nice families. If we look at the very first one up for offer, it's out of Access to Success. You only have to look down the page. Moneymaker, Nance Catch, phenomenal pedigree. And he just sells, and he's been doing a great job for a long time. And we're just really proud to have, those half a dozen odd colts and fillies in the sale. And even in New Zealand, I noticed they sold well. I think they averaged, the 2 that were there averaged about 80,000.
Yep.
So, he's just a phenomenal sire.
I think it was Classic Connection Derby Day at Maryborough, the greatest. There's a lot of all trotting days now, but it's probably still the greatest all trotting day, I think, in Victoria. And I think he had 17 individual runners on that day through the Derby, the Redwood, and a few of the other races. So he's really starting to make a mark here in Australia, especially on those big days.
Yeah, he's a genuine, world-class sire, and has been for a long time. So, if you're buying a Loveview, you're buying, quality.
Quaker Jet's well represented. You've got What the Hill from Woodlands as well. I mean, I think that's great that you branch out as well. You've always been keen. We said there before about Father Patrick. You also got one What the Hill. But Volstead, now he's a horse I know you're very, very keen on. He's well represented in your sale. And this might be the time for you to announce your little smokey.
Yeah, we were really keen on Volstead. He's thrown outstanding types, and he'll get a wonderful opportunity, through other breeders who went to him, and also at the farm. So he's throwing really correct types. So we put him to a lot of a lot of nice families, but there's one in particular. It's out of a pacing bred mare, Roxy Maguire, and I actually bought her in New Zealand specifically to because she's by Bettor's Delight. And if you look on pick up this booklet, look on the page of I forget the number off the top, the lot number, but if you have a look there, you'll see her pedigree. 3 back is Shinola Hanover, and also you'll see the stats that Bettor's Delight has done in relation to trotters. So she is a bit of a pet for me, and talking to Gary Toolaman, and Gary and Sarah are looking after the trotters this year. Sarah Gray, Dr. Sarah Gray, who runs the vet practice on the farm, he just said she never gets tired. They do a bit of work in the round yard with them, and I don't know whether that's the Bettor's Delight or the
Volstead or the combination.
Or the cross. So in one way I want there to be a lot of interest. In another way I don't want to be too much, because I'd love to bring her home and mate her again.
She's lot 227. Anyone that wants these catalogues, they've got photos, pedigree updates and the likes, I will have them. In Sydney, I will definitely have them there. They'll be there, but please contact me. The Bendigo Harness Racing Club will have them. Ballarat Harness Racing Club will have them, but also contact Louise here, or Sarah or Anton, and everyone will be happy to give them out. They're very comprehensive. It's got a little Parisian artiste on the front who's been a revelation for the horses you breed. You must take great, I suppose, fillet in that a lot of the horses you bred, what they've been able to achieve this year as well.
Yeah, and it's good that another stable's been been able to have success, and who's going to forget that race at on December 31st, New Year's Eve.
Sire Stakes.
It was between Aldebaran and Zeus and it was a great race.
Yep.
Great race.
Yep.
And both horses did fantastically well.
Yeah, they did indeed, and it's a great little story. And Taylor French on the front, so she's been now multiple Group 1 winning driver, both on a trotter, both one that you bred, and I think that's great for the sport, keeping young people on the coverage and the way. I suppose everything's being promoted and harness racing's being promoted. You're happy with it? Yeah,
I think so. Congratulations to HRV on their putting the Hunter Cup on racing.com. I thought it was fantastic. So congratulations, and I know that's not easy to do. And I'd love it if they did a lot more with racing.com. Could you imagine, our Saturday nights going on racing.com? There's not much of a Monday. Maybe the 2 big harness nights could be Saturday and Monday. It's just endless, and the amount of extra coverage you could get. So rather than, talking to a fat old bald bloke like myself, you could be talking to young drivers and trainers, getting to know them. I think the more of that type of thing we can do, the better, because what'll sustain the industry, I think, is people knowing about people in the industry, and knowing how hard they work and what they have to sacrifice to become a driver or a trainer, all that sort of stuff. And I think that hats off to HRV and getting it on the racing.com free to air. And just the last one on that, I know that was the Hunter Cup was on there, and the night before was the Great Southern Star, and there's a lot of theatre. I wish there was a little bit less theatre, because we were probably involved in a little bit. But congratulations to Majestuoso and Andy and Norm, well done. But when I was watching the Hunter Cup, I couldn't help think, but geez, it's a bit pedestrian. Wouldn't it be great if they had 2 heats and a final? Just
the paces.
Even talking to Stephen Bell the night of the Great Southern Star, he said, his mates in the thoroughbred world were amazed they're doing 2 heats, and they're 2 heats into a final. And I'm thinking, what harness racing has got to do is show the really good sides of
the diversity of our animals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's key. I think with the .com coverage, the fact that you then reach a different audience. I think sometimes we all say, we're a bit lonely and it's the same people all the time. Once you get going with a mob like racing.com, it's a crossover, cross-pollination. You'll get Craig Newitt sitting there watching the Hunter Cup coverage, so too will Taylor French sit there and watch Saturday's gallops, because of the fact that she knows you've got a runner in a Group 3, which you do have this Saturday, so good luck with that.
Thank you.
But it actually does work that way. It's a no-brainer in a way to grow our product and increase everything, revenue, turnover, but participation, getting people to participate in our industry, so that when we go to the sales, we've got more participants there to buy our stock.
Yeah, there's an old saying in marketing: you got to see something or hear something 9 times, and then you're at least aware of it. So the more HRV can do these sort of events on free to air, and I even enjoyed the exposure in the national, the Sun and papers like that. I thought, hats off. It obviously comes at a price, but I think if they can continue to do that, particularly at major events, it argues well for down the track.
Yeah, it does indeed, and I think it's all positive, and it just leads to our industry being a lot more buoyant. New Zealand sales just recently, they've been terrific. Some of the trotters sold really, really well. You'd be really happy with that. Obviously, it was a little bit of a glitch in the market in the middle, but overall, the way the trotters are tracking, you must be stoked on the sales front. Yeah,
the New Zealand's got a couple of obstacles to overcome in relation to the trotters. Their percentage of group and money in relation to group races for the trotters is a lot lower compared to the paces, so it's completely out of whack. So we're quite fortunate in Victoria that HRV have addressed a lot of those issues. I mean, I'd still like to see a few more issues addressed, but they're doing a really good job in relation to parity or getting towards parity. And just on New Zealand, I thought the good trotters still sold well.
They did.
And, if you look at the amount of effort that a number of breeders here over time have gone to get better mares and buy better, better stallions. As from a broodmare point of view, I can think of Emilio, and there's lots of others, Duncan, etc. And in the end, they all filter back through the sale, or they're starting to now. So the level of pedigree is just increasing. So, as I said, getting back to New Zealand, I thought the better ones actually sold well. And I still think, trotting's still strong in New Zealand, in relation to the trotters. But one of the reasons I think over time they might even source them out of here is because of our better families.
Better families, better race series with the inaugural Nutrien Trotters Classic race is coming up. Is that their name? I don't actually know their official name. These races, they're just at the minute they're the Nutrien Trotting Series. So I suppose
that'll do. Yeah,
that'll do.
We're just happy to fund them.
Yep.
So Nutrien do a good job in putting them on.
Absolutely, but the state money there will only help them and continue on. And don't forget, there's 77 trotters available through this Nutrien sale. 7 are going to be offered up on Sunday at the Warwick Farm Complex. The rest of the draft will be at Melbourne. 25 of those are going to be coming from here, directly from Haras to Trotteurs. They're available for inspection. If people want to come and have a look at these prior to the sale, please contact Louise and Gary Toolman, I would imagine, or Sarah Gray.
Correct, yeah. Louise is probably the person
one
to contact, but Sarah's busy and Gary's, very busy as well. So at any stage, and what people should be aware of, we're putting all our yearlings in the sale. So there's none in the back paddock or anywhere. They're all going in the sale. So we look forward to that, and we also look forward to welcoming visitors at any time through an appointment at the farm, or on our Yearling Parade Day on the 20th of March.
20th of March. I will be live streaming it, but as much as live streaming it, we want people to be here because you can't beat the smell. I mean, we've got the horses just behind us. You come to a yearling parade, you sit there and watch it on the TV. Yeah, it looks all great and flies. Come here. I mean, you'll put catering on. There's no worries there at all. But the smell when you visit this place and you see the horses and physically be able to see their temperament and that as well. It won't just be the parade. People will be able to inspect them, make a big day of it, put a line through it, March the 20, and make sure that you come here and enjoy the hospitality that you guys put on.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. You can't beat seeing it. I think people should be looking forward to, go to certain events because, we've been locked down with COVID for so long. So, we'll do our best to cater for it well. Have a nice coffee truck there and perhaps even a few
Best
beverages.
Coffees, they were brilliant. I did sample quite a few of those last year.
And just have a look at the horses. Yeah, and just enjoy the day, because at the end of the day, you might look at ours and buy somewhere else, that's fine. But I think if you can, provide that pleasant experience and, just make it enjoyable for everyone, it's better for the industry.
Totally agree, and I think that's one of the things. get in it to buy a horse, to win a lot of races and have fun. At the end of the day, it's an experience. It's meeting people, enjoying each other's company, being able to race horses and have fun. And that's what, by coming to a day like this, coming to the sales on April 3rd in Melbourne, if you can't get to Warwick Farm on the 20th of Feb, that's what it's all about, is enjoying the experience, having some fun. I suppose walking away rewarded, even if you don't buy a horse, you walk away because you've met some people and like-minded people that are trying to improve the product, I suppose, and enjoy the race series, the races.
Yeah, and just on that, you might want to get a group of friends together and pick one out, because you can do it inexpensively, and there will be a range of yearling prices there on sale day. So yeah, have a get some mates together and have a bit of fun.
Pat Driscoll, I could sit here and talk to you forever, and I will say with the Roxy Maguire one, please, I did an interview with Pat a while ago in relation to what makes Australia and New Zealand breeding so great is our opportunity of choice and the like. So go back and revisit that. I might even be able to reshare it, put it up a little bit earlier. But people will then understand your methodology with the Volstead Roxy Maguire, which incidentally is lot 227 in the catalogue. It's in this here as well. But yeah, it's not just something you decided you would do. It's something that you've had a passion for a while, and the French can't do it, but some of the French guys would love to be able to do it, wouldn't they?
That's exactly right. And that's the reason we ended up with Sounds of Cash, a pacer
by Ready Cash,
by Ready Cash, who's John Dunn's doing a good job with in New Zealand. So that's going to be interesting when she, probably have this season racing, and that'll be it. And be interesting to see which way we jump with her, whether we go with a pacer or a trotter. Ray Green, who's we've been lucky enough to have at the farm for the last few weeks, I've been picking his brain. What would he do? Because he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's one of the most respected horsemen in the game. So it's going to be a bit of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the intrigue in this filly. But I've seen her. Don't worry about that. She's a beautiful type as well. And I'm not saying that because you're here. She's a lovely type. Which the one thing I think a lot of people will get a bit of a shock when they see the Volsteads. He throws a type, doesn't he, Volks? They're big, strong types.
Yeah, they're beautiful types. Yeah. So in relation to that, they don't lack anything. Let's hope they run. That's the next question. But as far as presenting well, they'll present very well.
Pat Driscoll, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. Don't forget the Nutrien Equine Sale. Sydney commences on the 20th of February at 1 o'clock. We will be doing a live yearling parade 6 o'clock on Friday night, and that goes there. But then Melbourne, 25 of the Yabby Dam Farms and Haras to Trotteurs yearlings will be going through the sale on April the 3rd. So make sure you get your inspections out prior to that. March the 20th on farm here for a live yearling parade. Plus, I'm presuming Anton will be joining me. I hope I'm not throwing him under the bus. But
yeah, I believe so. But yeah,
his knowledge of the trotters is just sensational, especially with that French, what he's able to allude to for people with the French breeding as well. I think that's great. It will be live, but I still encourage people, put it around. It's a Sunday, March 20th here on the farm. Come and enjoy the hospitality and have a good look at a good drafter horse.
No, thanks, Paul. Thanks for taking the time to come down and have a chat.